The way I see it, you've clicked on this video for one of two reasons. Number one, you had a plan in Jan that didn't quite work out, or you had a plan, you killed it, and now you're here for a new one. But either way, you don't want to be wasting what's left of 2024. Glowing up is barely external to me. Yes, I love me a great skincare routine, an occasional haircut, or a pedicure, or some facials perhaps. But to glow the fuck up, you need to move from within. And if you've clicked on this video thinking these are 6 things for your hair or your skin or the new you externally, this video is not for you, babe.
I'm gonna tell you that I love you 100 times a day. You'll get tired of my voice, that's how much I'm gonna tell you that I'll miss you. I'll miss you.
So what does glowing the fuck up even mean? Being super hot on the outside means nothing if you're indisciplined, inauthentic, and with a shit personality. And in today's world, if you're telling me you have no ambition, purpose, passion, or goals, Now, before you come at me with some feminism bullshit about how a woman can do whatever she wants and having a dream or a goal or an ambition doesn't really define her, well, all good, all great, but being able to do whatever you want is an independent thing. And how are you going to be independent without a show running for yourself? To glow the fuck up, you gotta be in goddess energy. One of those bitches you see on social media getting shit done, acting like they have about 34 hours a day. Yeah, you gotta be that. But do they actually have 34 hours a day, or do they have it all together? Absolutely not. But what's the difference between you and her? While you're complaining about your life, she is busy creating the life she wants for herself. And baby girl, right now, you are entertaining people and you're addicted to this lifestyle of yours that's basically keeping you from the person you want to be. And how do I know this? That was my 2023. But here's the good news. Just because 6 months flew, the rest of the year is not fucked for you. I had a couple of goals that I wanted to accomplish for this year, and I'm 60% through that list. Because I'm that bitch who gets shit done. Now, does this mean my life was perfect? Does this mean I did not have bad days where I slacked? Absolutely not. I procrastinated. I had terrible days where I was on the bed like for the entire day and I didn't know what to do next. This is absolutely normal. But the real deal, or what makes the difference here, is what you do after you have one of these days, or a few of these days even. Unfortunately, being that bitch is more than a full-time job. It's a whole lifestyle change. It is a way of living. And sometimes it's going to feel like the source that you get that energy from is not a bottomless pit. But believe me when I tell you, it is, because you are that energy. You are made up of that energy, and you feel like you're running out of that energy because of habits that don't serve you and people who don't align with you. So here are 6 things that you can do for the next 6 months to be glowing the fuck up. Because guess what? You already are that bitch. Number 1, create a vision board for the rest of the year, or just take a paper and write down the list of things that you want to accomplish in the next 6 months. Now, this whole thing about, okay, yeah, but we're already halfway through, how can we create a vision board? I create 2 vision boards because that works for me. I create one at the beginning of the year, which is mostly December last week or Jan first week, depending upon what I've accomplished and what I want to add to my list, because like I said, we are constantly evolving. So create a vision board and write the things that you want to accomplish down if you're not a vision board kind of person, because there is so much power in putting things on paper. Now that you've given life to what's in your head by putting it on a paper, your subconscious mind is going to prepare you to work for it. And after that, if you work for it or not, that's a you problem. But at least we know there's nothing wrong with you or the brain. Number 2, cut all negative stimulation out of your life. I cannot emphasize enough on this. I have spoken about it in my previous video as well. Negative stimulation can happen on apps, people, shows, TV shows, movies, content you consume, Every single thing has to go. If you're going to be surrounded by people who are constantly putting you down, or if you're going to go on an app every day in the morning, while your brain is still like, yeah, okay, not ready for the day, and you go on this app and you're comparing yourself to 100 people out there, how is that going to do any good? Not just to your visualization process, but also you as a person. Why are you constantly paving a way for yourself to be put down? So if this friend of yours is bothering you and he or she claims to be a friend, cut her out or cut him out, because it's not worth it. And if this app is bothering you, if you're going on this app and every time you come out of it, you are very negatively stimulated, you are sad about your life, you're like, what the fuck am I doing? That app needs to go, unless of course that app is paying you. And baby girl, if you're listening to music and watching movies or TV shows that remind you of a certain person who's no longer there in your life, that has to go too. Either you rewire your brain to not think of this person anymore, or cut the show out until this becomes the new normal to you. Because reliving certain scenarios in your head, the brain does not really know the difference, and you're also manifesting for that shit to happen. So cut all negative stimulation out, because it is absolutely consuming you and it's not worth it. Number 3, the golden triangle of life. For those of you who don't know what a golden triangle of life is, it is sleep, food, and movement. Now, I'm not saying training is important for everybody, but let me tell you, body movement is important for everybody. You can either take a walk in the nature every day for 15 minutes, or you could simply just go to the gym. Your goal can be losing weight, gaining weight, just a toned body, whatever. You either go to the gym, you take a walk. Because if you're going to be sitting on your couch or on your bed or in the office at your desk for like 10 to 12 hours a day and you're not moving your body, that's not only unhealthy, you are putting yourself in the front line for various diseases and a very, very difficult old age. And for those of you who just turned 20 and you're watching this video thinking, old age is too far, believe me, that's not how aging and health works. Your body gaining muscle mass is so important because after 30, your body is not going to know how to process sugar if you do not have enough muscle. Now, if you're again 20 and if you're watching this video thinking, I'm just 20, 30 is a long way, I'll take care of it in the future. That is not how fitness works. In your case, the more the better. So the earlier you start, the better for you. And if you're 29 and you're wondering, oh my God, is this too late? Absolutely not. The little mass that you can gain in the next 1 year or the next 6 months for that matter is still going to help you a long way. And once you get into the rhythm of building muscle, the rhythm of just being fit, moving your body for like 6 months, it's a lifestyle already. So after that, it's not going to feel like a chore, or after that, it's not going to feel like a habit that you're trying to cultivate, because your day is not going to start and end without this in it. I used to be one of those people who told myself that 6 hours of sleep is more than enough for me because I'm the top 1%. It hurts me. It hurts me to think about those days. And now I prioritize my sleep. I sleep for about 8 to 9 hours a day, or 7 minimum. A couple of months ago, I read this book called Why We Sleep, and that shook reality for me. And also I watched Kristen Holmes from Whoop talk about how important sleep is. And if you are not prioritizing sleep, you're again putting yourself on the front line for various diseases like cancer. And these things really freak me out because end of the day, all of us want to stay healthy, we want to stay fit, we want to stay happy. And for me, it's pretty important because staying fit is not only a good thing in my life, but it also pays the bills. So yeah, you need to prioritize your sleep. Nobody can really survive with just 6 hours of sleep on the long run. It's going to screw you over. It's going to fuck you up in ways that you cannot even imagine. And number 3, and this is for people who are trying to lose weight. Losing weight does not happen due to starvation. If your macros does not meet your fitness goals, there is literally no point in you doing whatever. More often than not, we can get into the cycle of unhealthy eating habits pretty quickly and pretty subconsciously. Now, how do you get out of it? You make the subconscious conscious. So every time you crave for that dessert or a burger, try and look for alternatives and ask yourself this one question: if this is serving you right. Now, this is a lot easier said than done because I am a huge sweet tooth and I cannot sometimes control myself. But that's why I do 90-day hards. So I do about 2 to 3 90-day hard cycles in a year. So for the 4 months that I'm not doing it, I'm not like eating dessert every day. So while I'm still disciplined, I still do not have this mental block that something's restricting me. I am free. And because of this cycle, because of this continuity of staying on a diet and staying disciplined, I don't kind of go bonkers when I have the freedom for it as well. And one of the biggest changes that I've seen in my life, ever since I've corrected my sleep, the food that I put in my body, and body movement, I'm a lot more productive. I see that my productivity has drastically increased. The circle of friends, the people I look up to, or the people I speak to, or the content I consume online for that matter. And this is the reason why it's called the golden triangle of life, because this triangle pretty much influences every aspect of your living. Number 4. Now, I understand this may not be for anyone, but I genuinely do not get people who cannot intellectually stimulate themselves. I read a lot of books, and it's okay if books aren't your thing, but you have to be doing something on maybe even a weekly basis, if not daily, to train your brain, to grow intellectually. Listen to podcasts if books aren't your thing. And if podcasts aren't your thing, watch YouTube videos. Watch something, consume something that does not drain your energy, that grows you, that trains your brain, that intellectually stimulates you. And if books are your thing, I have a couple of recommendations for you, and I have about 6 books. Even if you can read just 1 or 2 books out of this, it's going to make a huge difference. The rest of the year is not going to be the same for you. And I've also categorized these books into 4 categories. You have habit and mindset formation, you have skill development, finance, and mental health. So book number 1 would be Atomic Habits by James Clear. This was pretty obvious. This book talks about habit formation and how you can create better systems for a better life. Atomic Habits is one of the first self-development books that I read, and it's been a game changer. And if you haven't read it already, what are you doing? Book number 2, we have Eat the Frog by Brian Tracy. This is about how to not procrastinate, how to win your day, broken down into easy and simple steps. Book number 3, we have Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday, one of my favorite authors in Stoicism. The way Ryan Holiday writes about Stoicism, I believe can make a huge impact in anyone's life, because it did in mine. And one of the things that this book taught me was discipline is not rigidity. Discipline is in fact flexibility, and flexibility is strength. If there's one book that I'd recommend everyone read, especially for all my girls who are really anxious of making conversation, because I used to be one of them, and this book is a game changer. Book number 4 is a skill development book, and it's called How to Talk to Anyone. The author beautifully explains social anxiety and how to overcome it, and she also inculcates these snippets from her life, which is pretty interesting and relatable. So How to Talk to Anyone by Lael. Book number 5. I don't care if you do not know anything about investing and you have no financial goals, or you have fuck you money. If you haven't read the book Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, what the hell are you doing? I feel like if you want to get on the journey of financial freedom or better planning, or just to control your expenses or to be aware of your expenditure, whatever your financial goal is, the first book that you should be reading is not the overhyped finance books or about investing in stock market. The first book that you should be reading is Psychology of Money, because if you don't understand the concept, if you don't understand how to and where to come from, you're never going to execute it. This is a great read, and I've personally recommended this book to a couple of friends who've loved it too. Book number 5 is Mountain Is You. This is a book on self-sabotaging. And before you come at me saying, okay, but I don't we all have the habit of self-sabotaging at least once in our life. And I'm just being kind by saying at least one. Brianna Weiss is one of the most sensible writers on mental health, in my opinion, and she's got some lovely books, but my personal favorite is The Mountain Is You. And if you're planning to read at least 1 or 2 books from this list, all you have to do is just read for 15 minutes a day. Set a timer on 15 minutes, that's all you need. And the next 6 months is not going to be the same as the previous 6 months. Number 5. 6 habits you need to be developing for the next 6 months. Number 1, calendar blocking or planning. You need to plan your day in advance. You cannot wake up and think, oh, I have to do this and this and this and this. It is not going to work. You're going to be overwhelmed and you're going to procrastinate. And how do I know this? that was me. I make 3 separate lists. I make a master list, which is monthly. For the month, I list down the things that I want to do, and then I break it down weekly. And every day in the morning, I spend about 10 minutes. I open my calendar and I kind of put all the things that I have to do, the meetings that I have to take, the filming, the recording, the editing, could be anything. The meetings that I have to take outside for work, could be anything. I do it on a daily basis because your mind's ability to plan and to think about the tasks ahead of time is the most powerful thing that you can do for yourself, and it's the most effective thing that you can do for yourself in your day. Number 2, scarcity mindset. Could be financially, could be romantically, could be anything. Scarcity mindset is what is keeping you poor, is what is keeping you unsuccessful, and is what is definitely keeping you indisciplined. Not too long ago, I would go on Instagram and I would look at other models, and if they're doing really well, I would not only feel shitty about myself, but I would also come out of that app thinking, this person's working with this brand that I really, really want to work with. Now I'm not going to get to work with them. And the only reason I did that was because in my head, somebody else's success was basically taking off my potential, taking off from me. Somebody else succeeding meant my potential decreasing, or my capability decreasing, or my chances decreasing. And that's not how it works. The universe is abundance. It's big enough to fit everybody. And one of the most powerful things that I read online was, maybe it feels like everybody is running the same race, but everybody's finish lines are different. So let's not compare ourselves and think that, oh my God, so this person has it, which means now I'm not going to get it. Oh my God, there's only so much money, so I have to be straight. And also one of these things that I really don't like is I consume a lot of content on finance. And one of the things that I used to get very irritated with was, oh, if you want to save up, if you want to be an investor, cut down on your Starbucks lattes or whatever. And Vivian too, your rich BFF, basically broke that myth, and she put it in a very effective way. Even if you were to get yourself a latte every fucking day, she did the math, and I did the math too. Yeah, you're not going to be able to do much. And it's also a lot easier for you to expand your income than to kind of cut down on your expenses within the means that you're living in. And that comes from a scarcity mindset. So could be any area of your life. The moment you think, oh my God, there's not enough, it is really not going to be enough because you do not believe that the universe is abundance. Number 3, passing judgments. Now, everybody does it. I do it. Very subconsciously, I can look at someone and be like, oh, what are they wearing? Or what is he saying? Or what is she posting? It is human to do this. And I also feel like you need to have the sense of judgment, like you need to be able to judge people to make better decisions. But that's not what we use our judgmental abilities for. Sometimes we're extremely quick to pass comments and leave harsh comments on social media, or to just even think about something like that in your head. But that is not going to serve you as a person in your manifestation journey. If you're manifesting, if you're working on something successful, if you're manifesting something, and if you're trying so hard to build this connection with the universe, and you're shitting on somebody else's life, like you're shitting on someone else without even knowing what they're going through, how is it going to work? Like logically, that does not make any sense. And it's okay that you do it because we are so programmed to do it. Like it happens to me on a daily basis. I would look at something online and be like, ugh, whatever. But every time you do it, ask yourself, are you passing that comment because you're envious? Or because you just think it's cool, or you don't know why? And if you're envious, you need to turn that into inspiration. And if it's not envy, and if it's just, oh, this is just the kind of person I am, you need to consciously make a decision to not. Because what we truly put out in the universe will come back to us tenfold. And I am a firm believer of that because I've seen it happen to me. Number 4, me time. Now this sounds very simple, right? But I used to have such a hard time just taking rest days. I would never take off on Sundays because I'm like, oh, at least let me go running or stretching. It is okay to rest. It is okay to do nothing one day. It's okay to take 2 hours of your day just watching something that makes you laugh, or even scrolling on Instagram if that's what makes you happy. The goal is to not get lost in it. The goal is to not procrastinate. But if you're dedicating time to spend on yourself, could be that skincare, could be going and meeting your friends. I really do not agree with all these things that I see on social media, which is, oh, isolate yourself, disappear for 6 months, work on your goals. We're relational beings, and it's okay if that's what you truly want to do. But if you're doing that because you think that's going to bring you success, no. You need to have a balanced life. It is okay if meeting your friends or your loved ones is making you feel happy, that's only going to accentuate the process of you working towards your success. It's going to make you happier. It's going to push you harder. And if it's diminishing that process, then you're not meeting or hanging with the right people. So whatever you want to do has to be done for yourself, guilt-free. Only pleasure, no guilt. Number 5, time management. I started working on my time management probably a year ago, and it's still something very challenging for me. I still struggle with it. But one of the things that I always remember, and that's the one thing that pushes me as well, is this thing that I read in one of the books. I can't really remember which book, but it says time management is life management. And also in Psychology of Money, Morgan Housel talks about it. If you don't know how to control your time, you're not going to control your life. You're not going to control your life. So there is no point in you having about 100 things to do and visions and dreams. It's not going to work if you're not going to know how to manage your time, because your time is the most powerful resource that you can invest in something that will either work in your favor and change your life, or you're going to regret it. And that's what this whole video is about, right? 6 months down the line, like in Jan, you're either going to be like, fuck man, I wish I did this. But you didn't, because somewhere you didn't know how to manage your time. Or you're just going to be like, thank God I fixed my shit. Thank God I didn't give up, right? So time management is an extremely important skill. And if you do not manage your time, you are not managing your life, lady. And the 6th habit that you need to cultivate is called Eat the Frog. And this is obviously from the book. And if you don't want to read the book, or you don't know what this is, eating the frog basically means doing the toughest task first in your day. Now, we all have a habit of working on smaller tasks in the beginning of the day. But the more you do it, you're going to get into a habit loop. And that habit is not something you want. The whole concept of eating the frog is, imagine you really have to eat a frog, right? You do that first thing in the morning. You can go about the rest of your day, which is 23 hours, knowing that the worst is already done. That's the whole point of getting the bigger tasks completed as soon as possible. Now, what do I do if there are 2 frogs to eat? I have 2 very important tasks and I don't know which one to do. Well, you eat the ugliest frog first. So you get the one that is a little more time consuming, or the one that requires a little more of your effort. Number 6, you need to pick 2 goals from that vision board that you created and work on those goals every day for just an hour, or at least 5 times a week. So if you collectively look at the time commitment for all this, you have 8 hours of sleep, and then you have 1 hour of body movement, that is 9 hours, and then you have 15 minutes of planning your day or your week, and then you have 15 minutes of reading every day, that's 9 hours and 30 minutes, and now you have 1 hour of working on your goals. Probably 5 to 6 times a week. So that's collectively, let's say 10.5 to 11 hours. And if you're telling me you cannot give a max of 12 hours a day, including sleep, to put on yourself, to work on yourself, I don't think goal setting is the video you should be watching. Now, let's remember that the point of this is not to wake up every day and be perfect. Perfection cannot and is not an attainable goal. It's about making consistent progress and being kind to yourself along the journey. And let me tell you this, you are already this powerful, capable person that you aspire to be. All you need is a vision, actions that align to that vision, and commitment to the process. Because like I said, in Jan 2025, you're either going to be like, oh my God, thank God. Thank God I didn't give up. Thank God I did this. Thank God I worked on myself. Or you're going to be overwhelmed and sad and loathing in regret. And that's not where you want to be at the start of the year. And if you like this video, chances are you're going to like my podcast as well. And I'll see you soon.
I'm going to tell you that I love you 100 times a day. You'll get tired of my voice. That's how much I'm gonna tell you that